Okay, we start. On the next paragraph, we say like this. It goes like this. The way to listen to this teaching on the benefit of liberation. This is the 5th chapter about the benefit of liberation. The way to listen to this benefit chapter, following chapter on how to follow a spiritual friend. Here is the two way to the listen to these teachings. First one is the benefit of liberation. Second is the following chapter on how to follow the spiritual friend. And also these two chapters before, in order to receive the teachings, the way to listen. This explained before the beginning, first chapter, and difficult to find the human existence. Like to correct our attitude and conduct that you know. Like there's two attitude, vast attitude. The vast attitude of the skillful means the mentor, the Bodhisattvas, Mantrayana, or the like Mahayanas. There's two kind of attitudes in the Buddhist, the Bodhisattva's perspective, and more is the higher vehicle of the Sutayanas. And then it's like in the Mahayana, there is the Mahayana of the Mantrayana. It's attitude we already studied. The skillful means attitude. Everything is enhanced by the 5 perfections that we already studied before the beginning of this book. And then here is the principal chapter first. The actually chapter is the liberation. It is to find freedom from this ocean of suffering called samsaras. And firstly, we should to think about the liberation, freedom. And freedom from where, how, and of course it is very important to think about in the teacher of the Buddha Shakyamuni. It is like kind of the teach to us for the fortunate student and those the disciples, and according their own each individual temperaments, particularly temperaments, and like spiritual faculties, and their own each individual the attitude of the discipline. And also it is like he taught such those disciples according they wish and according that they relevant. And of course there is like kind of the teaching of the causal and resultant teaching. And such limitless the entrance door of the Buddha Dharma and taught. And also it's like all these things are. And basically we have kind of the three Tripitakas, or the three vehicles. And like the lesser vehicle, Bodhisattva's vehicle, Mantrayana's vehicle, or we come to generally speaking the Shavaka vehicle, Pachika Buddha, Bodhisattvas, if you can to say. And this one is like a kind of the divided. Last time we already studied the like 9 vehicle, and this basically 3 vehicle, and then it's like more elaborate details, like there are the 9 vehicles, or maybe we can say it's like very shortly there is 3, or you can to say Tripitakas. And then it's like there's the excellent 12 branches of the speech, or you can to say 84,000 teachings. Of course, Buddha he taught 84,000 teachings, more like a short way, 12 branches of excellent teaching. And then it's a very resuming in the 3 Tipitakas. And this we are studying, then we can to make liberation from the ocean of the samsara, sufferings, which is called the samsara. And then it's a maybe we can do more to study, more a little bit talking. And here is talking about the samsara and the sufferings. Of course, in the just periods our course, and we studied the defects of the samsara, and in the 6 realms of the samsaras, it's really like kind of the full of the sufferings. Any perspective, any situation, any place, wherever be, almost it is difficult to find some liberation place. Therefore we call the ocean of the suffering. It's called the samsara. The meaning of the samsara is like cyclic existence, or the cyclic existence, like kind of the all the time is turning round and round endlessly. There is the examples, if you catch bear or no honey beer, put in the jar, then this honey beer fly up or down only in the jar, and there's nothing kind of the place to fly. When we cordon our disturbing emotions, negative emotion or negative like kind of the result, we all the times to be the jar of the samsara. And of course, wherever we flying, wherever we reborn, wherever we go in the jar of the samsara, then there is it's difficult to find suffering. How to say happiness? Everywhere is like conflicting, and it's like kind of big kind of the struggling, problems. And that is like a very important. We need to analyze it is really truth or not. And sometimes we can to say, I don't know really in the samsara is suffering or not. Many human beings difficult to understand suffering of the samsara. When someone is really too sick or problems or dying or old age or negative circumstances, then start really is samsara is like this. Like same as these situations. How many people suffering by this pandemic died? Those who ever died, they understood how it is the negative of pandemic. But those never experienced it, we think this is just a flu. It's okay. But someone has got it and recovered. They said, shaking, we need to social distance or distance. We take care of them. This is a really not kind of flu. It is a really dangerous sickness. Of course, we don't understand. We say why we need wearing mask, gloves, or it's like kind of that locking down. It's someone's controlling to us, maybe government, someone say. And we are said, but they certainly one by one hundreds die. Then we are like kind of running and complain. It's too late. Like sometimes really this, when we are healthy, young, and everything is okay, very difficult to understand the suffering of the samsara. It's true. And maybe certainly we got the sickness, or maybe some families lost, or maybe some is another negative circumstances. Then we start crying. Oh, I'm in pain now. That is samsara. Buddha, once is like says he listen music, and then his wife say, "What are you doing here, darling?" Said. And Buddha replies, I'm listening to this music. This music something make mind. Don't need to listen this music. It's called the suffering sentient beings. Then Buddha said, what do you mean suffering? Like exactly like this. In our world, sometimes we do not understand each other. For example, rich, they do not understand poor situation. Poor, they do not understand the richest situation. And the powerful persons, they do not understand weak persons. Weak persons do not understand the powerful persons. Sick persons do not understand without sick person. Without sick persons do not understand the sick person. Parents do not understand children's situation. Children don't understand parents' situations. Leaders do not understand the under people's situation. Under people's leaders' situation, we do not understand each other, only concerning self. I like kind of. Then there's a conflicting. There's a big kind of problems. And like this, we do not understand the samsaric sufferings. Then we are not in test liberation. What do you mean liberation? I don't need liberation. When I watch the football match or taking the alcoholic drug, that may be liberation. Nice, is it? Or maybe it's like all the times maybe holiday. Yeah, that is maybe. But really too serious to check. Really is those are the guilty pleasure. This word is I like very much. Guilty pleasures. And it's like once I was like very much cookery. in America, like it's a ice cookie. I don't know. In the ice skating, in the ice, they like kind of the, how do you call this? Huh? How do you call? Hockey, yeah, hockey. Because they crack, bang. So then they beat each other, and there was someone's falling, so like really excited. Like they watch day and night, 1 week front of the television. After eyes problems, all tasks is finished. Even forgot to clean toilet. Couldn't hear the smells. And it's coming out, eyes problem, faces swollen. But then it's 1 week, I was so happy. Which kind of happy? Getty pleasures. Like this. Sometimes it's like maybe in the samsara, kind of healthy, illusory healthy. You know, it's like kind of the temporarily, today, tomorrow, we don't know it, but a little bit, okay, comfortable, we think forever. You know, it's like, actually forever for me, it's cheating ourselves. Really? Cheating. Absolute. I'm cheating myself a lot. Inconceivable. And I myself, I cannot to shame them. Of course, if I'm here, left or right, there's some persons watching me, you know, it's really, are you cheating yourself? Yes. And when I be myself, I'm cheating myself, is nothing kind of whatever I need to. But then it's a result. You cheat or not cheat, it's you front others or not, behind, doesn't matter. Results, consequence, same. And like this, we can to say, I don't afraid samsara. 100% is afraid. You know, I want to make joke. And last night I came to in this temple, like maybe this morning, something 3 o'clock, a little dark. Be in the front of the Guru Rinpoche, in the wind is a dong, so door is closed. Tung. Like kind of shock. Why? If you are not samsara, you're not afraid of the samsara, just draw a little bit the make sound by the wind. Why you need to scaring? I said. And generally, if in the books, in the Buddha's teachings, say, look at the samsara. How much suffering? Are you afraid? I said, no, I'm not afraid. You don't afraid birth, old age, sickness, death? Never. When I was young, old age, some of my friends, they say old age is horrible. I'm sometimes inside. Some old age people says difficult to digestions, difficult to get up, all the joints is pain, and skins is like kind of the ring everywhere, lose the teeth like this. Then there's some, ayo, show that old age like this. Then it's you expecting or not expect, slowly collapse, worse and worse. They finally die. When you see like this, and someone says, look, surely you will be like this. I said, no, I will never be like this. And all the time, like kind of the ignored. And certainly now I am in the age of like this. And sometimes I need double glasses, even I'm wearing 2 point. Difficult to see. Like this. And it's like maybe if I'm expecting my eyes getting better, I thought maybe I go to the hospital. I say, shut up, stop. Whatever you do, never is getting better, worse and worse. Until you, as this time, collapsed to do some positive things. That is for you benefit. Now it's like, now experience, then start, I understand, realize that the samsaric suffering of the old age is too late. I want to say is how much you experience your young age. Nothing, just I'm thinking, this is normal. Now, like kind of guilty, like a little bit regret. I couldn't recognize my youngest. But I'm not worst. When I was young, I want to appreciate very much Dharma, Buddha's teaching. When I received the Buddha's teachings, I understood a little bit. Really, it's like even my mom's died when I was young. Of course, I love very much. But when I'm thinking the samsaras, through other situations, less suffering. Of course, I don't need to lose my love to my mom, but not very much suffering. Yes, my mom is left, but I will show it's not me and my mom. It's like kind of the others one by one. Look in the world widely. This is samsaras. Fathers passed away like this. Yeah, like this. Then it's not very much kind of the suffering. Quoting the Buddha's wisdom, when I was young, very much emotional person. And it's like really a little bit someone said, become angry, sensitive, crying, like this. And do not understand the suffering of the samsara. Now fully, it's like, of course, not realized, but to understood really the suffering of the samsaras. Very strongly wish to be free from this suffering of the samsara. That is true. And then it's like maybe when we understood that one, then it's concerning automatically liberation. And also kindly Buddha's, quoting the Buddha's teachings, hey, I need to do something. I just say, hey, Buddha, I have faith in you, pray to you, trust to you. Can you bring me into the liberation stage? But I don't want to do nothing because I'm laziness. I don't want to practice. I don't want to meditate. I don't want to do the positive things. Can you bring me in the liberation? He already sent a message. I can't do nothing. You liberate yourself. I give you methods. Then if I'm comparison. For example, before I can't drive. Of course, there's kindness one might translate called Liz. She taught me a little bit, and I used her car very much. And beginning, I thought, how I can to drive her. Maybe it's easy. It's not easy. And then it's like I ask some drivers, can I drive you immediately? Can you give me your knowledge? They are like, yeah, how I can to give you? You should study. Go to school to study the traffic rules, how to use all the inside these machines, and how to drive. You should to study them. How I can to give knowledge? I said, maybe if you have magic or something, power or blessings to install into my brain. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to. And of course, I went to Kando school. He said that she told me. And then it's like, I need to study. Beginning is very dangerous. I drooped. Very, very dangerous. I didn't die. I didn't crash it. But finally now I came to drive, and some great other our students, they told me how to drive. Then I thought, yeah, that is the truth. If I want to drive to make freedom from the samsara to the nirvana, I need to be driver. I have a wonderful car, human Buddhist car. And Buddha, he said that is your best car, best vehicle is the human existence. When you enter inside this precious car, you should to very carefully drive in the highway. There's many highways. Best highway you choose. Also Buddha said this, I give many there's intricate navigations and different highway. And it's like these highways, maybe you choose good highway yourself, more short, more swift, fast, quickly. And that is the truth. Maybe in this life, according my this body, maybe I can to do something for the benefit myself to others, and maybe can make liberate myself first from the samsara. Then it's according to these beginning prayers. Then I can to maybe can to show that my own path. In the Buddha's teaching said, first you to journey to the liberation state. Then it's like this experience, your journey, to tell to the next your success or the next generation of your followers. That is the way of the Buddha. It is maybe true for you and understood the defects of the samsara. Really, last time is like this period, our schools, someone says really, I don't know, they just said, but it's very, very happy because they really to understand some situation of the samsara, like not to say, oh, suffering of the samsara, not like this, no feeling, nothing, just like kind of roughly you say. It's like you just, oh, delicious chocolate or coffee. If you don't drink, you can't say name, but you not experience. But last time's our course, you really to experience. You put samsara into your special cup of your kind of the study, and you drink it through your tongue of the how do you say, it's like contemplations, and also it's like the true, like the, how to say, the teeth of or the tongue of the meditations, and you experience, you test it, it is delicious or not. Now you say, oh yes, it is a bitter or sweet or sugary or what it is, the samsara, you know the very well. Now you are like kind of to say, now I am concerned in the liberation, and which kind of way of the to the liberation. And like this, we should first to understand the really situation, the meaning of the suffering called the samsara. We do not understand, as I said, like this in the human societies. Rich, poor don't understand. Then all the rich, they say poor, so problems, why they do like this. Maybe we can to destroy them, they disturb to us. And if we help today, they are coming back tomorrow. If tomorrow we help them, I won't come back day after tomorrow. This year we help, next year they come endless. Why, they say? Of course, poor people, of course, they want to become rich. But their situation is very bad. Then they do not understand rich. They need come back. They're making problems. Of course, some poor people, rich people don't understand. Why? Because it's rich also. Maybe there's a stinginess, sense of the loss, and also they may be tired and like this. And they do not understand that communication is very bad. And a situation is very bad, a lot of conflict, and kind of the fighting, argue, killing, and destroying each other. Like this, we need to understand each other. So very, very important. Even though we need to understand our contain in the samsara. For example, now in this human realms and this world, there's so many natural disasters. How many people dying, according the flood, landslide, and like a kind of horror, and a typhoon, fire, earthquake, volcanoes. So many natural disaster things, and happened today is I saw in the Los Angeles, there's a big fire. One lady, she's coming, fortunately or luckily, coming out, her mother together, and journalist is coming. What happens? Burn everything. Did you get something? Nothing. Only my what I wearing clothes. That's all. Everything's burned. Maybe his house is wonderful. Maybe how many years? Maybe her mother, fathers, they built it wonderful. Few hours, few minutes, or maybe fire burn everything, make ash. Lost everything. Like this. There's nothing kind of the heart or core in the positions, material things. Today you have, tomorrow is disappear. It's a samsaric situation like this. And then it's like this mother and daughter is coming out from this beautiful house. House is burned. House says, go out. I'm jump swimming into the fires. And swimming and disappeared. And then it's like the mother and the daughter say, how many years we build you, how many years we taking care of you, you kick out of the house. Say, yes, I love fires. Exactly the same. It's our body belonging like this. Even our body is a samsaric body, contaminated body. Of course, if you can to understand this body, fantastic, but it's samsaric body. And dualistic, ignorant, disturbed emotions perspective. This body is very, very fragile, sensitivity. And it is, we taking care very much. Every day take shower, give delicious. We every day make chapati, giving to the body. Body says, hey, today you're going to make chapati. Every day. We make every day begging. And we are giving. And clothes, which expensive, soft, Even myself, it's just like all the times inside out. Why? Body says, outside is make me trouble, irritating. Body is how much sensitive, how much we caring. One certainly body said, go out. Then we say, what? Then body say, go out. I'm going back to the samsara. You cannot stay in my place. Then we are sad, but bodies kick out. Sorry. This is like we are suffering. Who need to searching other body? That is the samsaric situation like this. We should to analyze. But I'm a talkative. Maybe don't need to talk. Last time you studied very well. But this is like I'm talking myself. I'm not talking to you. I need to talk myself, these things. And I'm serious to say, in these days, sometimes I'm watching televisions. Sometimes they're talking about democratic things. Wonderful, nice. Some on democratic dictatorships. Something is like someone's control is like make suffering to others. Then it's like kind of dualistic anger is coming, and then after I have guilty watching. Why I watched, and I'm like kind of why I'm this. This is not my business. Of course, like also they do not understand. Then I say everybody be happy. Everybody be happy. I don't want to make the distinctions. And I have very strange mind. I don't know you have. For example, when I look at the films, I don't know, sometimes there is dualistic ideas coming. Even I'm looking the boxings, boxings. Two guys or two girls is boxing. But I don't know this both. But some in the mind is, you choose this one. This one is your side. This is not, so why? And you choose, and this one losing, I'm angry. You should beat. And this is really dualistic or like kind of samsaric. Like this sort of dualistic and like kind of the concern, maybe better to give up. And to think about samsaric sentient beings equally. Everybody needs liberation. Everybody needs to be happy. we need to change or something our own self. Really, for example, I'm telling myself, okay, if you criticize to other, instead that you change yourself to be kind, to be tolerant, to be like kind of the cheerful, compassion, follow up the Buddha Dharma, Buddha's teaching, to practice, then you are doing something. That is such a benefit for yourself, benefit for other. You are on the liberation path. You are the beating samsara, and you are impact to the samsara, and you can to destroy the samsara. Otherwise, it's like you are constantly selfish, follow other destructed, taking the path of the destruction mind, follow up your disturbing emotion, desire, attachment, anger, hatred, jealousy, proud, arrogant, so on, and to others completely forget it, only me, my, I. Then I think it's a liberation is far and far, 100%. We are not really Buddha's path. Then it's I'm like this. I want to change. I need to. I'm very much struggling. I struggle in my many years. I'm still struggling. Of course, I'm stupid, but I hope my noble family, Dharma brothers, sisters, you are more intelligent, you are more learned, you are more precise, you are more kind of courage, you are more compassionate, you quite kind of diligent to practice Dharma, changing, become more kindness, compassion, hope. And the Dharma city is more and more student. I'm really, it's a shock to, it's, I'm astonished. They are changing so much. Beginning when I enter in this group, they are like this, but slowly they study. Now it's really amazing. It's when I be in there, I say, you look, you provoke to them. They are so kind. They're changing. I have become like this. I'm very happy. Sure, when this retreat is finished soon, I hope. Maybe we don't know it, but impermanent is of course everybody. We sometimes students saying before impermanent we will see each other. I hope we can to see each other, and in this place, when I will see you, how much you changed. I'm like kind of the hurry up to see that. I'm really like eager. I want to see you, how much you changed. You don't need to change your face. You don't need to change. Maybe you change. Buddhists become old. Sorry, but you don't need to change. Oh, I'm not handsome, not beautiful. I don't care. You become rich. I don't know. It's okay. Your life is wonderful. Good luck, I will say. You say it's like I become handsome. Okay. You become beautiful. Okay. What is for me? Sorry, old guy. But if you change to something atmospheres, very much kind, relax, and according to the Dharma, then my tears may be automatically coming. I want to prostrate to you. Really, I'm automatically bows. But it's like when we see each other, like a little bit become more arrogant. Then I say, you become more a little bit kind of proud. And sometimes Dharma practitioners, I make it like 3 years retreat. Now I'm a Lama. And like a kind of arrogant, proud. Where's Dharma? Gone. Yeah? Okay. You are my family. I be close to you or not, I'm not sure. Really, I'm just serious. And I'm not sure you are. Look, it's like you really to study the Buddha's teachings 100%. There is. Last time say at least if you keep the 10 positive actions, wonderful. You are the Buddha. You are the Bodhisattva. Then it's wonderful. You are on the liberation. You are benefit immediately. There is nothing to change. years follow up the Buddha Dharma, years listen the teachings, and try to practice very tentatively. Every day, bang, 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 tang, 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 nothing changed. Dharma is nothing Dharma. Okay. This is also, I think, this author Patrul Rinpoche said, it's not kind of liberation path. Like this, to understood the fully the samsara, and then is the understood antidote of the Dharma, and you changing there's such a good pause, and then it's like there are the liberation path immediately, like kind of the benefit immediately. There's the such a benefit you have. What is this? Who is kitchen? Who is today? What she's doing? Okay. Yeah. Okay, close the door. Like this, I'm saying is like to understand the suffering called the samsara. Then if we want to escape from the samsara, is it called to the attain the level of Shavaka, Pachika Buddha, perfect Buddhahood. There's three levels. Shavaka, Pachika Buddha, perfect Buddhahoods. And there is in Tibetan Nyantu, Rongyal, Dzogchen Ranyak and Shavaka, Pachika Buddha, Bodhisattvas. These are the most important to know about. For example, Shavakas, and generally Buddha, he taught, of course, 84,000 teachings. To make the resume, there is the coding the listeners, coding the disciples. There's 9 vehicles. And also to make the more short way, and there is like kind of the 3 Tripitakas. And the followers, quoting the listeners, we have 3 vehicles. The vehicle of the Shavakas, the vehicle of the Pachika Buddhas, the vehicle of the Bodhisattvas. And also there is the 4th one is we call the worldly practitioners. Worldly practitioner. Like kind of the ordinary practitioners. And ordinary practitioners, then it's like a kind of maybe do not have compassion, bodhicitta. Maybe it is there is no kind of the view of the emptiness, but they have the good view. Good view. Which kind of good views it? And like a kind of they have a perfect view about the causalities. They really fully understand the causalities. You do the positive things, reborn in the higher elements of the human and God, and then they are practice really to practice the 10 positive action to stop the 10 negative actions. And also it's like when they have a perfect view on the causalities, but they are more concerned in themselves. It is like kind of, I want to reborn again, human or demigod. Therefore, I don't want to kill, I don't want to like this. To keep the 10 positive action, 10 negative like actions, to abandon, adopt these things. And then it's like according that, then they're making the accumulation merit. through the body, speech, minds, and of course, and related to the body belonging virtues. But these virtues, accumulations, not enhanced or not embraced, not according the compassion, the realization of the emptiness, both is only kind of the concerning self, like a kind of make a joke. Sometimes in our Western, someone say, I don't eat meat. Why? Why you don't eat meat? Yeah, very good, These days, if you don't eat meat, a fantastic person. There's a little bit arrogantly. Why you don't eat meat? I don't like to get the cow disease. Only afraid for the cow disease, then you don't eat meat. Oh, yeah. And like more concerning the afraid for yourself damage, but you don't concern. If someone say, I don't eat meat, why? Because of I'm thinking about those lost life, those sentient beings. Then it's the compassion. Not like this. Why you practice the 10 positive actions? Why you stop the 10 negative actions? Because I don't want to reborn in the hell, hungry ghosts, animal animals. I want to reborn human, the God animals. Therefore, I'm doing that. That means there's no compassion, only concerning self. But you have a good view, and for the causalities. This we call the Dharma of the worldly Dharma. But worldly Dharma is become the profound. Worldly Dharma is very good, very good, very good, and it's become the foundation of the beyond worldly Dharma. It's like the Shavaka, Pachika Bodhisattvas is a path, is become like this. And then it's like this is also it's like we need to more talk like this, but we live like this. And then according to this word of my perfect teacher, he said is Shavaka, Pachika Buddha, perfect Buddha. Now, generally speaking, if someone is wanted to be liberation, and then there is the advice, pretty instructions. This advice is according to the 3 Tripitakas. We need to study 3 Tripitakas, and when you kind to say the like kind of the studying, like we need to instruction and quote the related to the 3 Tripitakas. Sometimes you can call the 3 sessions of the scriptures. 3 sections of the scriptures, and first scripture is the Vinayanas Pitakas and the Sutayanas Pitakas and Abhidamayana Pitakas. These 3 Tripitakas or Tripitakas. These Tripitakas or the 3 sessions of scriptures has a kind of the meaning, and we call the like kind of 3 like high realizations, 3 realization or 3 trainings, 3 training, higher realization, 3 trainings, 3 trainings, 3 trainings. For example, quoting the Tripitakas. The first Tripitakas is the Vinayanas Tripitakas. Is like kind of the principal subject matter, the training of the discipline, and like kind of the individual liberations. And there is the like kind of the discipline 251 discipline to follow up like more to study. This we call the stems, the training of the discipline. And then is the second Tipitaka is the Sutta Tipitakas, Sutayanas, and the training of the is the Samadhis, and like Tingens and Lapasi, the training of the Samadhis, and that is like a kind of more according to these suttas. We need to realize it how it is the Samadhis. And for example, this is the training of the discipline to kind of the foundation, like a kind of when we say it's like the field is the like kind of the ground, and the field itself is a fantastic, perfect, and you may be tame. That one is there's no like a stone and some bad grass and nothing. You can do clean up earth. This your field. It's a fantastic way. And then is a top of that you can to put some agriculture. And that is like a kind of the training of the discipline realization. And then is the second training of the realization, training the samadhi realization. That means it's you put the seed, any kind of barley, rice, and any vegetations to put there, and then it's how to like kind of to grow up. You exercise, and it's like kind of the samadhi trainings, and samadhi means it's like kind of training. You go to into the field, your basic the discipline, the training of the field. You put the seed, and of course then you are like kind of the to how to grow up, to develop your seed. And then it's like according to Abhidhammayana Tripitakas, and that is the like a kind of the training. It is the wisdoms, training wisdom, and like we can to say it's like when you be in the field and you already put seed and they grow up, but you have very special methods. Maybe it is like kind of the some manual, and you have different, some is like fertilizers you put there very fast, very quickly, and like your harvest is become the successful, enhanced like by the good condition, good circumstance, or good fertilizers. And that is the training realization of the wisdoms and the principal subject matter of the Abhidhammayana Suttas. And therefore it's like also, it is there is such a kind of the quotations. Vasubandhu say, Asanga's brothers, he said, is observing discipline and having heard and contemplate the teaching. One apply oneself intensively meditation. And first time is basically we need to training realization of the discipline. This is the foundation. This is the basic. This is the source of everything. Discipline. Without discipline, and like that, it's like a kind of the cannot help to others. How we can to develop our positive things. For example, in the 37 practice of the Bodhisattvas, if you haven't got any discipline yourself, how you can to help to the other sentient beings? Obviously. And therefore, it is like you have a perfect yourself to have discipline. And according to Vinayana Suttas, Vinayana Suttas is talking about the 10 positive, 10 negative, Of course, top of there is like maybe many. And also discipline means maybe Bodhisattva's discipline, Mantrayana's discipline, or any kind of discipline. And according to Dharma discipline, you need some discipline. Without discipline, you can't do nothing. Then it's like Vasubandhu says, like top of that, you have the discipline, then you can hear, you can to study, you can to learn. And then it's like when you are study, and then you can to really to apply to the meditations. Because you have discipline, you studied, and you like kind of understood the teaching. What you hear, you mean it to understand. Like same as when you are study the driver lessons. Okay, maybe driver teachers, the lessons teachers, say when you drive your car in the middle of the city, there's a traffic lights, green, red, white, and there is the conjunction route like this. There's many signs. You should notice this. Everything is you. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. Okay. Where is you understand? Can you show me? I can't show it, but I understand. Then you go into in the drive. You be in the city. Then you have inside. That is the red light. I need to stop. That is a green. I can go. There is like conjunction. Science need to go turn right, like left or direct. Everything is there's a navigation sign or navigation machines to show you have your inside this instruction how to drivers you have. Like this, when you are like you call the liberation state, and you receive the liberation instructors according to three Tripitakas, and then it's like you have the base, you have the like a foundation according the first Tripitaka Vinayanas. You have the foundation of the discipline. We say training, the training realization of the discipline, and then you study top of that. Then you know how you can to how to say focus, which you need to do, which you need to concern it to think about that, and then it's like you this meaning contemplating. Yes. Your mind is like this and that. You put your mind is like, then you are training inside. Then it's like focus on intensively to the meditating on the same. And therefore, it is like the first time is most important to practice ethic, and ethic restrain through the pure moral discipline of the Mora discipline. Mora discipline is not really only the kind of the religious, even the worldly. Sometimes when you have the Mora discipline, then this person has a successful. For example, in Dharma city, we say it's like, do you have Mora discipline? Say some our noble students, Sangha say, you took the engaged promise to every in the morning to exercise. Do you have disciplines? If you have moral discipline, you should do it. If you haven't got moral discipline, today do, tomorrow not, day after tomorrow do, then slowly you give up. Then health is worse and worse. Of course, old age, laziness, lack of discipline, the problems there. Like this. Therefore, very important. And when we are talking about the liberations, top of this discipline, like kind of the foundation, realization of the discipline, then you need renunciation. And renunciation is the mind want to be free from the samsara idea. I want to be free from the. Then you are concerning more liberation. And that is like a kind of who wanted to liberations. It's a very, very important renunciations. And this is like the foundation of all kind of the qualities in the futures. What I said, training realization of the discipline, principal subject matter of the Vinayanas, and top of that, needed renunciations. And then this like foundations, then you put something, to study, and then it's good quality automatically coming, naturally. And then it's like through this, maybe you can easily to practice like another, we can say is the second Tripitaka, and which is the second the session transcripture. It is the Sutayanas, principal subject matter, is like a training realization of the Samadhis. Of course, Samadhi also itself has discipline. Then top of that, how you can to practice Samadhi. And also it's like the quoting the Abhidhammayana Suttas, the Abhidhammayana Tripitakas, and the principal subject matter, training higher realization of the wisdoms. And also it's like according that there's a renunciation, and also it's of course it is like through this, and then you can to think about the liberations here. And of course basically there's three training realization, higher realization of the higher rebirth, you can to say, or higher rebirth of the Buddhahood. And like a kind of the, through this we need to turn our minds through this study, reflection, and it's like the stage of the path to be the practice. This through our minds, this related to these three sessions of the scriptures, the subject matter of the three realization of the high realization or higher rebirth, you come to say. Then it's actually path of the meditation itself regarding to the main practice of the path, the like kind of the great master of the Nangachunat says. There's a wonderful thing says it. If someone has without meditative concentration, without the meditative concentration, there can be no wisdoms. Without wisdom, then there are like a kind of the samsaris and like a kind of existence. Or it's like we can to say there can be no meditative concentrations. So by taking up these two together, the great ocean of samsara become inconsequential, or small like the drop of the water, hoof pointing as the cows. It is like kind of the very easy, like kind of the, if you haven't got meditations, and then it's what you are want to kind of the meditate. Without the meditations, what you have kind of the liberations. And therefore first time is very important to study it. There is an example. Tupamep Gambatis, without study, contemplate, the meditator, how is this looks like? Without two arms, looks like climb on the rock. It's possible? Maybe not. Like this, without study, without contemplate, what you are going to meditate? This is nothing to meditate. It's nothing. And therefore, it is the very important first times to study and then contemplate, and then afterwards, it's like kind of the meditations. Okay, I want to say again, if someone has want to be liberated, and then we need to follow up the instructions, advice, pit instructions. And these pit instructions quoting the 3 sections of the scriptures, or you can do 3 Tripitakas. And these 3 sections of the scriptures are the Vinayana, Sutayana, Abhidamayana. And then is the quoting these 3 Tripitakas, the main principal subject matter is the 3 realization of the higher rebirths. Higher rebirth, it is the enlightened rebirth. And then is the first training realization of discipline. Second is the training realization of samadhi. 3 realization of the wisdoms. And these 3, according to the pit instruction of the 3 Tripitakas, and the practice to study how to meditate, these 3 like a kind of the training realizations of the high rebirth. And then top of that, mind need also is renunciation. That is like we received from the contemplating of the 4 reminders. And then mind is become very much soft. Mind is very much workable. Mind is really understand the beneficial of the liberation. Mind understand the defects of the samsara. Then mind really want to be liberation. Oh, I want to do liberation. Oh, I want to be liberation. Oh, I want to be liberations. Like this. And then is like a top of that, we can to say it's like we need to meditation. We need to meditation. Meditation, according to we can to say it's like Hanayanas, Mahayanas. We hear in the word of my perfect teacher says, the Pachika Buddha, Shavaka Buddha Yana, and the Bodhisattva Yana says. And that is like we have like this. And this we need to according to study. And it's when we are studied the 3 yanas. No, it's when we are studied last year the 9 vehicles, yanas, 9 vehicles. And then is the 3 outer vehicle, 3 inner vehicles, 3 secret vehicles. And then is we need to follow that according here, word of my perfect teacher says, like there is Shavaka, Pachika Buddha, Bodhisattva yanas. There is according the more is related to the is outer 3 vehicles. Outer 3 vehicles are, as I said, the 3 Tripitakas. These 3 Tripitakas. And these 3 Tripitakas, quoting these 3 Tripitakas, they quoting the 3 vehicles or 3 practitioners. Shavaka practitioners, Pachika Buddha's practitioners, and Bodhisattva's practitioners. For example, these 3 Tripitakas, quoting the Shavaka's 3 Tripitakas, we can to say is Shavakayanas Vinayana Tripitaka, Shavaka's the Shavakayanas and the Sutta Tipitakas, also Abhidhamma Tipitakas. This is according to the follower of the Shavaka Buddhas. And Pachika Buddha is almost not different. They just a little bit is below the Shavaka Buddhas. Shavaka Pachika Buddhas, almost similarity. Just a little bit, the Pachika Buddha has high realization of the view. There's not very much. And then this is like according we can call the causal vehicle, or you can to say the Sutayanas, Sutayana. And Buddha's teachings, there is one you really to divided all the teachings to include two. In the two is everything. Sutayana, Mantarayana. Sutayana and the Mantarayana. And then Sutayanas almost included everything in there. And then it's like this three Tipitakas, also quoting the Mahayana, Bodhisavayana. Bodhisavayanas is like Bodhisavayanas Vinayana, Bodhisavas Sutayana, Bodhisavas Abhidhamayana, like more high three Tipitakas. And then it's like but this is Bodhisavas-yana, Shavaka-Pachika Buddhas. Everything we call the Sutayanas. More like a kind of the foundation of the like direct teachings, more principal teachings. It's therefore we call the outer three vehicles. Outer three vehicles. And then it's like when we second Mantrayanas. Mantrayana, quoting the Mantrayana, of course, Mantrayanas also cannot go beyond the three Tipitakas. Three Tipitakas, Mantrayanas Vinayana, Mantrayanas Sutayana, Mantrayanas Abhidharmayana. We need to practice like this. Then is in the Sutayana, you divided two sessions. Outer tenter, inner tenters. And outer tenter is you call the Traya Upayogas. Of course, quoting that also is like this, these three Tipitakas, like a kind of the outer three tenters, Vinayana, Sutayana, Abhidhamayana. There is, of course, it's like different, but this training process almost the same. Training, realization, absolute, there's same kind of. And then is more high, we can to say is the in the three tenters, in the three Mantrayanas, as you know, Maha and Atas. And this also, of course, the Maha and there is inner three tenters, quoting this, inner tenters Vinayana, inner tenters Sutayana, inner tenters Abhidharmayana. Also, they kind of the training, realization of the discipline, samadhi, wisdom, it's exactly the same. And like quoting that, and then it's like we understood like a kind of the nine vehicles is we resume into those three followers. In the world of my perfect teacher says Shavaka, Pachika, Bodhisattvas. And that is like a kind of very important to know that. Maybe we need to talk a little bit more, like in the here it says the attain the level of a Shavaka or Pachika Buddha, perfect Buddhahood. And Shavakas, of course, they attain the arhats. They go through this all the Tripitakas, like Shavakas. They're training. They follow up these three Tripitakas, and also they training their mind like a kind of the three subject matter of the training realizations, and like a discipline, samadhi, wisdoms, and then they like kind of the mind is to make a calm, and like kind of abiding, and through this there is such a kind of the different vipassanams, and then of course they mind they have kind of the different levels, like according the 8 or 9 level of the samandas, like according the 4 dhyanas and 4 formless dharmas. This maybe is like 8 samadhis or the 9 samadhis. 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 Now samadhi of the level of the samadhi, and that is like then afterward they become the arhat. It's like kind of the enlightenment. The Shavaka Pachika Buddhas be like kind of enlightenment, but it's not perfect. And because it's the lack of the compassion, the lack of the realization of the emptiness, and therefore it's like kind of fully liberation is not there, but it's a kind of the liberation. It's compared for us, they are really liberation, fantastic situation. And the perfect Buddhahood, of course, there's according the three Tripitakas, and according the 3 training realizations of high rebirth is the same, but they are like kind of this according the like 3 Tripitakas, they are kind of learning, contemplating, meditate on this 3 training high realizations, and enhanced by the bodhicitta, of course based renunciation, and also it's like like sealed by the great realization of the emptiness, and then they can to make perfect Buddhahood. I think I have a little bit coffee. Okay, we can to stop 10 minutes or half an hour. Okay. Oh, I think it's almost 12 o'clock. We need to do today's no question. Okay, 10 minutes.